Oh, welcome back on this Monday. Buck Reising here with you. Just heard from the Titans head coach, Mike Vrabel. I think he's still in the middle of the Zoom, but, I think we were getting into the weeds a little bit, so we decided to keep it moving. 615-737-1045 is the number. That's how you jump in. What most impressed you about the Titans win in Houston yesterday? I, of course, am still in Houston, but we'll return back this afternoon and do things in person again. And, there's a lot of impressive things about this football team right now. Frankly, the way that they've got here has been nothing short of spectacular. It really has been. I mean, there's so many reasons to have doubted them and to have questioned them. And I'm not saying that they are beyond questioning or beyond doubt. In certain instances, there's been plenty of legitimate reasons to kind of look at them with a side eye and say, yeah, the whole situation for Tennessee, without Derrick Henry for half of the season, without Julio Jones for a good chunk of it, without A.J. Brown for 6 games, and all the different ways. They made it to 91 players, by the way. The final tally on the regular season, 91 players, including 3 more yesterday, brought the total up to almost 10 more than the previous 2 teams who held the NFL regular season record for most players to have dressed for a team in a regular season. It's incredible, really is, in what they've been able to do. And not only did they make the postseason, but they're the top spot in the postseason. They are the best at what they do on this side of the bracket, and they have done it in spectacular fashion. They really have. It's been dramatic, and sometimes it's been, borderline unwatchable. But for all those reasons, Mike Vrabel deserves to be coach of the year. He truly does. And I want you to hear this exchange, and we'll get to it here in a second. I know Lucas is fielding phone calls right now, but he was asked about this last night. And the question started out with Titans fans who had brought several signs. I saw one of them in particular, right by the Titans tunnel, that said Mike Vrabel for coach of the year. And there were several throughout the stadium. There have been a couple of them, whether we're at Nissan Stadium, whether the team is on the road, whatever the case may be. And, Mike has had a really good case among the candidates, betting favorites, whomever. And I haven't checked the latest odds on DraftKings Sportsbook as of this morning. But if Mike Vrabel's not the favorite to win coach of the year, then I believe something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. And by the way, should win coach of the year. Otherwise, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. Matt LaFleur, hell out of here. Matt LaFleur has a head coaching job because of Mike Vrabel, respectfully. Not that Matt's not good at his job, but, let's be realistic about this. Mike Vrabel is the only Mike Vrabel and Frank Reich are the 2 head coaches remaining from that 2018 first year coach class. John Gruden had been an NFL head coach before, but from that group of people, Mike Vrabel and Frank Reich are the only ones left standing. And Vrabel has done significantly more with less than Frank Reich has been able to do. I'm not saying this is a multiple year award. I'm just saying, look at the body of work. And let's be realistic about this. So Teron Davenport asks him last night in our post-game press conference, what do you think of the love that you're getting for coach of the year? And I thought Mike Vrabel's answer is exactly why he deserves to win it.
Well, I mean, I think Ron Rivera says best. Focus on things that are important and not that are interesting. And that's probably interesting. Important is trying to get this team ready and find 48 guys each week that believe in the same things that we do and that help us win. So I do want you to mention the fans. I thought that's where we were going, but just appreciate them coming down here. Wish we could have given them a better third quarter, but it was great to come out of that tunnel early this morning and see people there and be excited.
Focus on the things that are important, not on the things that are interesting. And Ron Rivera, by the way, whom he's quoting there, is a wealth of knowledge. I think that Ron Rivera, speaking of inspirational, with everything that he's had to overcome over the course of his career, it's not a bad person to cite if you're going to be giving out words of wisdom, or if you're Gene Chizik, words of chisdom. Lucas told me during the commercial break that Gene Chizik is back in the coaching ranks. Who's going to be continuing his words of chisdom on the sideline for the North Carolina Tar Heels next season. But Mike Vrabel deserves to be coach of the year for the players for all of the injuries that they've had, for the heights that they've reached, for the fact that they're the best team in the AFC right now, for the fact that he just doesn't seem to give a damn about the coach of the year. I'm sure if he gets it, he will be honored by it. I think it will mean drastically less if he gets it and they aren't playing in the Super Bowl or something of that nature when the NFL awards are given out. I think it's the Saturday before the Super Bowl when those things are done. So with all of that said, this is not somebody who cares at all about the conversation around it. If he gets it, great. If he doesn't, whatever. He's just focused on what's most important right now. And what's most important is winning football games. And they have done that 12 times, lost 5. And because of that, because of their resolve and because they've put this together in a way that is clear and obvious to everybody, they're sitting as the 1 seed. They're in the driver's seat. They got a free ride through the wild card round into the divisional round, into the second round of the NFL playoffs, which, as you know, is incredibly difficult to do. 615-737-1045 is the number. What's the most impressive part of what the Titans were able to do yesterday in Houston? And frankly, what they've been able to do all season long, because the regular season now, of course, has concluded. Let's go to Big O, who's up first in Lebanon on 1045 The Zone. What you got for me, O?
Okay, I've got 3 things, and I'm going to come quick. Last week, I didn't call, but I really wanted to. I don't know how on earth UT let Mike Keith get away. He is the best announcer, bar none. I'm going to throw that in quickly. Also, last week, I was so impressed how our defensive back knocked away balls that was in players' hands that was going to be caught. That didn't happen this week. I really missed that. And also, this week, one play that happened that we're not talking about was the turf monster tackle. It was huge. It gave us 7 points that we would not have gotten right before the half. A big thing that happened. I mean, he was going for the first down, and the turf monster reached up and grabbed him. Have a great day. I enjoy your show.
Hey, thanks so much, Big O. Yeah. Well, what O's talking about there is Davis Mills. Davis Mills running for his life. And I saw somebody make a terrible joke yesterday on social media. So let me first start out by saying that this is not my joke. It's somebody else's. I was not clever enough to think of this in real time, nor do I think that Bud Dupree would appreciate it, because Bud Dupree was after Davis Mills' ass at the end of the first half and was chasing him down. Davis Mills was able to escape him. Now, I don't know if Dupree got a finger on him that caused him to trip, but it did look like the turf monster got him down, because Davis Mills had cleared Bud Dupree. He had a path to a first down, and then he just fell all over himself. He looked like a scared child running. And Lucas, I don't know. I had somebody tweet me today or yesterday during that game that said Davis Mills was running from Bud Dupree like he saw the Walgreens video, and I could not.
Oh, God.
I could not stop laughing. And then I'm sure Bud Dupree would not appreciate that, but it's really, really good. I don't blame him. Bud Dupree's a big, scary guy. I'd run like that too. If I was Davis Mills, I'd fall down too. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in on the conversation. But from a defensive standpoint, that third quarter, and really from an offensive standpoint, because you got 3 straight 3-and-outs to start the second half. The defense was an absolute mess. And then you got back into the thing because, one, your offense bailed you out. And it was, I won't say it was a complete performance. It's not by any stretch of the imagination the most complete performance they've had all year. But, this conversation comes up based on our guest last week, right? Aaron Schatz, who said after the Titans beat the Miami Dolphins and had the clear path to the 1 seed, assuming that they won in Houston, which they did. We had Aaron Schatz on. He had the tweet about, worst number 1 seed ever in the history of DVOA and all these things. And what Jeffrey Simmons was asked about this last night. And Jeff checks social media, so he knows what's going on. And when Schatz said that, it sent a pretty big ripple effect throughout this community, through the Titans fan base. I know plenty of people with the organization who just looked at that and kind of scoffed and snorted at the idea of it. So we asked Jeff about that last night. This is what Jeff Simmons had to say.
We don't care. I mean, only thing that matters is the guys in the building, and the guys. You guys matter more than what they talking about. I mean, y'all around us more than they around us. But yeah, we don't care about what he say, she say. I mean, our thing is prepare to win. And like I said, we the number one seed for a reason. We block out the extra noise. We focus on the guys in the building. We focus on preparing all week, getting up to the game. So that's all that matters.
And that is all that matters right now. As far as the defensive secondary is concerned, credit to Davis Mills and to Nico Collins and to the ghost of Danny Amendola, who put up, 113-yard performance. I can't remember how many receptions he did it on. It wasn't a ton of volume, and it really wasn't until the second half. Two touchdowns as well from beyond the grave at 36 years old. But when because the defense has been so good all season long. It's the reason. It's of all the reasons why they are at this point, it's because it's multifaceted, right? It's the coaching staff putting plans together that allows, players who they pull off the street on a Thursday and have to play in a game on Sunday, putting it together, right? Coaches with the trust of the players, putting them in a position to succeed. Then there's Ryan Tannehill, who has been steady and available throughout the course of the season, which, by the way, people take for granted now. But if you'll recall, when Chris Greer, who is keeping his job in Miami inexplicably while everybody else around there is getting fired, Chris Greer shipped him off to Tennessee for a 4th-round pick. That was the whole thing around Tannehill. He's not he's injury prone, which of course doesn't actually mean anything other than he's been hugely unlucky, and football is an incredibly violent sport. A lot of people get hurt playing football, and Tannehill has been hugely available. So coaches, Tannehill, and then the defense. And the defense had a moment where they had some struggles. Davis Mills was giving them the business. And whether it's Davis Mills, Patrick Mahomes, or whatever, you got to be able to respond in that moment. And at that moment, we saw the offense find an extra gear that probably was the most impressive thing to me yesterday. That's when I felt like, okay, this is a team that can compete for a championship. Listen, I'm not, hater or doubter or skeptic or whatever. I'm trying to be realistic about what I'm watching every week. And it took until that game for me to see the defense falter in the third quarter, to see the offense sputter to start the second half after they got up. They did well to get up 21-0. And then Ryan Tannehill to lead a championship caliber fourth quarter drive with a touchdown on the end of it to seal the win. That moment, I decided, all right, this Super Bowl team, it's a Super Bowl contender. They can do this because they've just shown me and us and everybody watching that they can get down, things can go wrong, and they can now, because of health, execution, skill, and everything else, they can bail themselves out of these moments, because there's going to be some moments like that against better teams than the Texans. And, with the uncertainty around their roster throughout the course of the season, it was a big question. Can they bail themselves out? Couldn't do it against the Texans the first time around in week 11. They couldn't do it against the Jets or the Patriots. There wasn't enough. Now it seems like there is, and not seems like there is. And they showed it to you yesterday. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in on the conversation before we get ready to wrap up the show in this final hour. Let's go to Ken in Goodlettsville, who's up next on 1045 The Zone. Hello, Ken.
Hi, Buck. How you doing?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
Good. Two questions. You think they were attacking Jackrabbit Jenkins quite a bit in their pass game? And also, I was listening to the conference, and I've listened to several of these other conferences. What is it about Coach Vrabel and Paul Kuharsky? Where's the war there? Where's the love? I don't know which, but there is a little love there. I don't know why Kuharsky even bothers to come. Maybe Vrabel's trying to get rid of him. I don't know. But that's all. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Thanks, Ken. Well, let's start with Jackrabbit. So Rabbit's been pretty good the past couple of weeks, probably the past month. Now he's missed some time due to injury, been dealing with that ankle. And listen, we had Coach Mack on Friday, right? Max said it as every corner does. Christian Fulton got beat a couple times yesterday by anonymous number 15, who wasn't even on the Texans roster. I had to Google who was wearing number 15 for the Texans yesterday in that game. Corners get beat from time to time. Rabbit is somebody who has had that happen to him a couple of times this year, so he's probably a bigger sticking point, especially given that he replaced probably the Titans' best defensive player in 2020 in Malcolm Butler. And there are moments when you can go at him, right? But he's a veteran corner, and more often than not, he's going to keep you in games, going to help keep you in games. He wasn't the only corner to get beat yesterday. It was Elijah Molden, who Danny Amendola took on a ride. After Molden got hurt, it was Chris Jackson who gave up the second touchdown to Danny Amendola. Christian Fulton got mossed by anonymous. I think that was Nico Collins that mossed Christian Fulton, if my memory serves correctly. And then as far as the press conference is concerned, I don't think Mike's tried to get rid of anybody. I just think, Mike's got a certain amount of bandwidth for things. And if you don't want to talk about something on a particular day, you don't want to talk about something on a particular day. And if somebody who asks him the questions more often than not that he doesn't want to deal with, or he finds to not be worth his time, then he's just gonna, he's gonna do what he did there. And that's all there is to it. When we come back, we're gonna do some poll questions. We're gonna get you out of here. Last call for phone calls, 615-737-1045. That's the number. I'm Buck Reising. It's 1045 The Zone.